Is it too little too late with the release of the Zoom Fly 6 from Nike? Hey cats, it's Ed, Superfly Bud here. I've got an update for you today on a shoe that's soon to release, the Nike Zoom Fly 6. It's a long-awaited refresh of the Zoom Fly model. Been a couple of years since we had one, and it's really needed. I think it comes out the 1st of November. Is it classic Nike snake oil advertising here, or is it the remodel that we've all been waiting for? Let's discuss. Thanks for joining me on the channel once again. If you've not done so, please hit that subscribe button and also give this video a thumbs up like. Comment below as well to help with the YouTube algorithm. Drop us a super thanks too if you're enjoying the content and want to help support the channel on a more ad hoc basis. Danke schön. Taking a nice long swig of snake oil today, talking about that Zoom Fly 6. All the Insta influencers seem to be going mad about this one, but I'm not so sure myself. Zoom Fly 6 set to launch for $170 in the US, so that's about 130 quid here in Blighty, but I think it's probably going to be more than that. Nike suggests it's 10% lighter, so that would bring it in at around about 260 grams for the sample size. That's down from about 289 for the sample size in the Zoom Fly 5, so it's quite a considerable difference here. Losing an ounce of weight is always good in my book. That shoe's continually got heavier version after version, don't forget. I reckon that this one is going to come in around about 300 grams in my UK 11, US size 12. So it's still a little bit heavier than some of the other competition, like the Endorphin Speed 4 from Saucony, or perhaps that Mac X2 from Hoka. Around about the same weight, I reckon, as the Puma Deviate Nitro 3, which is currently covered in mud, hence why it's not back here. I think there's a little bit of snake oil going on here. They're using Eddbud Kipchoge, the GOAT. He's the master, kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of running. He's here on the advertising. He's got some special notes that he's written about this prototype of the shoe. They're really quite general though when you actually read them. The heel cushioning protects the heel. The forefoot cushioning is comfortable. You'd never guess it, would you? Obviously, there's a carbon plate here. Eddbud says that the shoe's comfortable in general. The outsole's great. The upper material is flexible. It's the perfect shoe by all accounts. But the majority of this page is all about Eddbud, really, rather than the shoe. And, you know, the man is exceptional. It's great to see him say some nice things about the shoe. But it's just more weird marketing from Nike. Tell us about the shoe, the materials, the technology. What have you done to test it? All that type of stuff. That's what we want to know. Let's not forget, right, that people are still winning races and marathons and stuff around the world wearing the Vaporfly 2. And not just people, like top athletes. They're using a shoe that's been released several years ago. That's still the best in their eyes. I mean, the actual difference between the Zoom Fly 6 and also the Vaporfly 3, well, it's a midsole foam, like a thinner upper. Maybe the rubber's a little bit more of a meagre spreading on the Vaporfly 3. And does Eddbud Kipchoge really train in this shoe? I think most of the time we see shots of him wearing the Alphafly or the Vaporfly. Why would you wear something inferior if you had the option to wear those every day? Now, I'm not bashing Eddbud at all. He is the legend. He is the master. I just feel that Nike don't really utilize him in a particularly respectful way sometimes. We've seen him dressed up in weird gear on stage, showing off ridiculous like concept shoes and things, and here we've clearly got some notes and he thought the shoe was alright. I think more information about the shoe in general would just go down better with runners. Zoom X, of course, is crazy forgiving, can't take that away from it. It's really good on the feet and the legs, but if you had the chance to smash out your miles every day, you know, your 100-mile weeks wearing something else, if you had the Vaporfly and the Alphafly available, I think not. Now, other brands, of course, have had several years to kind of perfect this almost cookie cutter style trainer. The Endorphin Speed back in June of 2020. That had a full-length nylon plate and the top PBA foam of the time from Saucony, which was Power Run PB. That shoe was a forerunner. It didn't really have an equal whatsoever, especially when you consider how light it was. $160 back then was a lot of cash, yes, but it was a very popular shoe. People used them to race in. Aside from the plate difference here, it's very close to what we got here in the Zoom Fly 6. How about the Puma Deviate Nitro 2 and the 3? That shoe's got a composite carbon plate, similar stack by all accounts, and a lower price of around about £150. Even lower at discount actually over here in the UK, you can pick up pairs for about £125. Excellent grip on the bottom of the Puma. You know, Puma grip is super durable, as is the foam actually. Nitro and Nitro Elite foam just seem to go on for ages. It's not really a massive departure in terms of the spec of the Zoomfly 6. Mind you, we're going on the specs on paper here, aren't we? It's impossible to say what the Zoomfly 6 will be like until we get it in hand and on foot, of course. I'm not rubbishing the shoe or not trashing it, but we can of course make assumptions on certain shoes when we know the foams that are in there. We've seen this type of thing in the past. Hoka have got their Peba plated super trainer, the Mac X2. That's a bit more pricey at 170 quid here in the UK, but we do have an additional foam stack there. There's a little bit more underfoot. Then of course the Adidas Adizero Boston 12. That is right up there in everybody's lists. People love that shoe, and it's so cheap at 140 quid. It goes on for miles too. Excellent durability. So is the Zoomfly 6 update from Nike too little, too late? There's a huge selection of shoes to pick from now. Some of them above 40mm in stack as well. They're brilliant training options. Just feels like Nike have waited too long to release this shoe. Having a Zoom X and sort of other foam carrier combination just feels like everyone else has done it already. We've already got better shoes out there that do this. And Nike certainly have missed the trick with past versions of this shoe. They've never really delivered what everybody wanted. The Zoomfly 4 was an awful React brick. The 5 had the mashed up Zoom X offcuts in an overly chunky midsole overcoat. So it just doesn't really stand out that much as you would expect a Nike shoe of this ilk to do. It would, you know, drive people wild, having people queuing up to pick it up, but that just isn't really the case anymore. There's little to differentiate between this and other manufacturers' plated training options. I mean, the weight itself is in the ballpark, that should be okay. The price is about what you would expect from this type of shoe. Hopefully they're removing some of the key problems there we had with the Zoomfly 3 through to the 5. It will be a less dense foam here. It might mimic a little bit closer what we've got in some of Nike's race shoes. That was the problem really in the last few versions of this shoe. It didn't really feel like they mimicked the feeling that you get in the race shoes. Certainly the Vaporfly, nothing feels quite like that, does it? The Endorphin Pro and the Speedline have become less similar in underfoot feel as the version numbers have incremented. Though you could say that the Boston 12 is a little bit closer even to the Adios Pro and the Takumi Sen. They're using more Light Strike Pro in there and a slightly softer version of Light Strike as well to mimic that feel but at a lower price point. It can't be ignored that On and the likes of Hoka too have really moved in on Nike's market share, where Nike have kind of been resting on their laurels, I suppose. Hoka and On have moved in and picked up quite a lot of people. I've seen loads of people using On shoes recently. They do seem to be on the rise, no pun intended. Though, of course, some of these other manufacturers just can't hit the price points that Nike can. I think where they're making so much cash on other things, other brands just don't have the ability to manufacture things at such a lower price point. I'm going to run a poll of whether you think I should review the Zoomfly 6. Is the interest actually there? So do check out the channel in the community section. I'll have a poll running there. I'll leave it running for like a week or so and see what comes out. I think it'll probably be that people do want to see a review of this one, and I have reviewed like pretty much every Zoomfly shoe right through, so it would be cool to actually see whether they've actually got it to where I want it to be. This kind of nimble, slightly more durable version of the Vaporfly. That would be awesome. I just feel with so many existing models that kind of cover this space, I think it might only be for the true Nike enthusiasts only. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one down in the comments. Quick musical interlude for you. Today I've been listening to the fantastic sort of mini album from Mac DeMarco, which is called Another One. It's a cool play on words really, because he's got a track on there called Another One, which is all about, like, sounds like his partner or something, perhaps cheating on him or sort of moving away from him to another one, and he's beginning to sort of lose that trust in her or him or whoever. I love the actual backing on this one. The drums super dry, and he's got these lurching, lazy keyboard synth sounds. They almost sound like they're being boiled or something. They're kind of wavering. It's really quite a wonderful, unnerving sort of sound. There's a lot of Mac DeMarco music that's quite like that. The songs sound a quite sad and melancholy, and then you listen to the backing, and he's got a brilliant way of using chords on this album that just give you this weird feeling like you've never heard anything quite like it before. Things are a little bit out of tune, they're just on the verge of being in tune, and there's a fantastic feeling that he generates from it. The drum sounds on this one are beautiful. I don't know how he did it, probably using a really minimal set of mics. It's one of his best. I love the front cover as well. He's sat there, he looks like a fisherman or something. He's in the water playing his keyboard. It's really quite cool. Go and check it out, guys. One of my favourite tracks ever, I think, actually. Another one by Mac DeMarco. Thanks for tuning in, people. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion video. You know, I'm stoking the fire there. I'm not sort of anti-Nike. I want them to produce a great shoe, but just feels like this one could have been done ages ago. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Drop us a comment as well to help with the algorithm. My name's Eddbud, and I'll be seeing you